Welcome to session 11 of Teaching Aptitude. Today we are going to learn about the learning models. The first model that we will learn, the first theory basically, is of Benjamin Bloom. He gave this particular theory in 1956. This is very well recognized as Bloom's taxonomy. It has three types. I have written a short acronym for Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy, that is CAP. So C stands for cognitive, A for affective, and P for psychomotor or kinesthetic. Okay, so this particular theory from the exam point of view is a little important. Cognitive means knowledge, affective means values, emotions and attitude. Psychomotor or kinesthetic is of course physical skills or behavior, right? Now here when we are learning this, we need to know the order. It's knowledge, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate and create. Okay, so this particular order, the which comes first, which comes last, is important, and Anderson had revised this particular order in 2001. This is the new order, okay, that we are following, and if we are asked to arrange, we have to always follow the recent one. Okay, the cognitive branch or cognitive domain in Bloom's taxonomy is about understanding concepts and not just memorizing them. Okay, and how we do that? First, we recall the information, then we understand the ideas, or later we apply this particular information in a familiar situation. We break into parts and understand the relation between them, and then we evaluate or judge these concepts, and then we join parts to form new ideas. Similarly, affective of course includes feelings, emotions, as we have discussed, and this has 5 steps. First, receive phenomena, respond to phenomena, valuing, organization and characterization. Now, this also we need to know the order, but it is not as important as the cognitive one. The cognitive one is of course the most important here. And then we have the psychomotor or kinesthetic. So it's imitation, manipulation, precision, articulation and naturalization. Here we need to know the order, and this particular chart is very important. It is quite self-explanatory, and this is actually important. I am emphasizing this again and again, so please don't leave this. Next we move to Gagne's and Briggs learning model. Now this model helps educators plan and assess their teaching strategies. Okay, so first here includes intellectual skills. It includes learning new ideas, understanding rules and solving problems. Second is the cognitive strategies, where special tricks that help you remember things better. Third is the verbal information. So here, well organized library of knowledge in your brain, facts, concepts and details that you can recall when needed. Then the fourth is motor skills. Of course, doing physical activities. Whenever there is kinesthetic or motor skills, it is always physical activities. Coordination between brain and nerve muscles. Then attitude, of course, the way we feel or emotion. So this particular model is not really important, but I have added this as a part of learning. Okay, now Gagne's next model is important. He gives 9 levels of learning. Okay, so in the 9 levels, this this particular sequence is very important, and I have written a small acronym, a small sentence that acts as an acronym to learn all this in the given order. Okay, so first is reception, then is expectancy, it's retrieval, then selective perception, semantic coding, responding, reinforcement, access performance, and generalization. We better learn this in a story format because there are too many of them. Here, if you see the ones that are highlighted that I have already said, we have to remember that, as well as we also need to know the ones that are not in bold. Okay, but again, I will show you in the next slide that what we have to remember. Okay, so these are the 9 events of instruction. Okay, that was the 9 levels of learning, but these are the 9 events of instruction. So Gir Forest, PPE, PAE, that's how you can remember this, but you have to remember this, it is really important. Okay, so first is to gain attention, then inform the learner about objectives, then recall prior knowledge, present information, provide guidance, elicit to performance, provide feedback, assess performance, enhance retention and transfer. So when a teacher comes in the class, we first stand for a few minutes, let everyone notice that the teacher has already entered the class. ठीक है, then we inform the learner कि आज हम ये पढ़ेंगे. After that we recall prior knowledge कि हमने कल के क्लास में ये किया था, या फिर ये टॉपिक, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ़ वी आर लर्निंग एडिशन ऑफ टू डिजिट्स, वी फर्स्ट रिकॉल कि 1 डिजिट का कैसे होता है, क्या प्रोसेस हम फॉलो करते हैं. देन we present our new information, we provide guidance, and then उनको हम उनके परफॉर्मेंस पे रिएक्ट करते हैं, उनको फीडबैक देते हैं. फिर हम क्या करते हैं, एग्जामिनेशन लेते हैं, we conduct exams, we conduct tests, we conduct assignments, and then there is enhanced retention and transfer of knowledge, right? So that's how this is to be learned. ये एक एग्जाम्पल से आप इसे थोड़ा मेमोराइज कर सकते हैं. ओके, एंड नाउ वी मूव to another of Gagne's hierarchy of learning. So Gagne has basically given 4 learning models. First is Gagne and Briggs. The second is Gagne's 9 levels of learning, which is reception, expectancy, retrieval, selective perception, semantic encoding, responding. Then again, reinforcement, access performance and generalization. Then 9 events of instruction, and then we go back to Gagne's hierarchy of learning. All this, the last one was about instructing. This model is of learning, 9 levels of learning. This is 9 events of instructing. Now again, hierarchy of learning. Here we have divided the hierarchy into 2 aspects. One is cognitive aspects, the other one is behavioral aspects. Okay, so the first 4 belong to the cognitive aspects, whereas the last 4 belong to the behavioral aspects. But we need to remember again how the sequence is. What comes first, what comes last. Okay, we begin from signal learning, stimulus response, chaining, verbal association, multiple discrimination, concept learning, rule learning, and then problem solving. So before we solve a problem, how do we actually move towards solving a problem? So first is signal learning, SS, signal learning, stimulus response. Then is CV, chaining, verbal association. Chaining is when one concept triggers other. Okay. Then we have multiple discrimination, concept learning, and rule learning and problem solving. I hope you have understood everything, and the last two modules are especially very important along with Bloom's taxonomy. Don't leave them. Thank you so much. See you for the next session. Thank you.